Welcome to the deep dive. We've got some great listener input today about drain camera inspections. When do you actually need one?
Right, it's a good question. Because it feels like sometimes that's the immediate jump, doesn't it?
It really does. You hear a gurgle and think, oh no, bring out the cameras. But, our mission here is to sort of cut through that, figure out when it's genuinely smart, when it saves you trouble and money, and maybe when simpler fixes are fine.
Because often they are. The sources you sent over make that clear.
Exactly. So the big question we're digging into is, when should you really think about getting a camera down those drains? And why could just crossing your fingers end up being more expensive?
Well, first off, like you said, not every single clog needs the high-tech treatment.
Yeah, the sources really stress that a good, thorough cable job, snaking the drain often does the trick, clears the blockage, gets water flowing again, problem solved.
Simple as that sometimes. But there are definitely times highlighted in the material where a camera isn't just helpful, it's pretty essential to figure out the real issue.
Okay, let's get into those. The must-have camera situations. First one mentioned. Recurring backups. So your drain keeps clogging even after you think you've cleared it. What's that telling us?
That's a big red flag. If it keeps happening, even if cabling works for a little while, it strongly suggests there's a deeper ongoing problem.
Like what sort of thing?
Could be anything, really. A partial collapse in the pipe, maybe roots have gotten in there pretty bad, or some other kind of damage that the cable just can't fully sort out. The camera lets you actually see it.
Makes sense. You need eyes on the problem. What's another clear sign it's camera time?
Sewer smells inside the house. That's never good.
Definitely not.
Right. And a camera, according to the sources, can find exactly where that smell is coming from. A break in the pipe, maybe sections aren't lined up right, an open connection somewhere. You need to pinpoint it to fix it properly. Guessing won't cut it.
Yeah, you want that fixed fast. Okay, what about home improvements? Planning a big renovation.
Ah, yes. Before you do any major work, especially anything involving concrete or foundations, getting a camera inspection is really smart.
Why is that?
Well, the sources call it peace of mind. Think about it. You don't want to build a new patio or finish a basement right over a pipe that's already broken or failing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be a nightmare.
Exactly. A quick camera check beforehand can save you enormous trouble and expense later. Better safe than sorry, like you said earlier.
Definitely. Okay, and trees. Lots of us have big trees near the house.
Tree roots are notorious for finding their way into drain lines. They love the water and nutrients in there.
So snaking them out isn't always enough.
It can clear them temporarily, sure, but the camera shows you how bad the intrusion actually is. Are there just a few roots, or is the pipe full of them? How likely are they to just grow right back? It gives you the full picture for a long-term fix.
Gotcha. And here's one maybe people don't think about much buying or selling a house.
That's a really important one. Your standard home inspection. It usually doesn't involve sending a camera down the sewer line.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. So, a dedicated camera inspection, as the sources point out, can uncover hidden plumbing problems. Big, costly surprises you wouldn't want as a buyer.
Or something a seller might need to deal with before listing, I suppose.
Precisely. It avoids issues during the sale.
Okay, so we've got these clear cases where a camera is needed. What happens if you skip it when you should have gotten one? What's the cost of just guessing?
Well, the sources touch on that. You could end up cabling a broken pipe over and over. It clears the immediate jam, maybe, but the pipe's still broken. The problem isn't solved.
So you're just treating the symptom.
Exactly. Or you might miss something like a belly in the line.
A belly? What's that?
It's like a sag or a dip in the pipe. Wastewater and debris just sit there. They don't flow away properly, and that leads to more clogs down the line.
Ah, okay. I see.
And, think about the cost. All those repeat visits for temporary fixes, they add up. Sometimes they add up to more than just getting one diagnostic camera inspection in the first place to see what's really wrong.
Kind of penny wise and pound foolish, potentially.
It definitely can be. And what's interesting, one of the sources used as an example, AA Quick, sort of emphasizes this honest approach. They'll just cable it if that's all that's needed, no pressure.
Right.
But if they suspect something more, they use the camera to show you. Visual proof? It's about actually diagnosing the problem, not just selling a service. That transparency is key.
So, wrapping this up for our listener, the main takeaway seems to be, simple clogs, often just need a good cabling, but watch out for those red flags we talked about.
Recurring backups, those sewer smells inside.
Right, or if you're doing renovations, worried about tree roots, or involved in buying or selling a home,
In those cases, a camera inspection is probably a really worthwhile investment. It lets you see the actual issue.
Avoid those temporary fixes that don't last.
Yeah.
And really get to the root cause.
Yeah.
It prevents bigger headaches.
Definitely. Which, leads to a final thought for everyone listening. Think about your own place. Is there maybe a little grain quirk, something seemingly minor that keeps happening? Considering what we've discussed, could that issue actually benefit from getting a closer look inside with a camera? Might save you a much bigger mess later on.
Thanks for listening, folks. Remember, most of the time a solid cable job will do the trick. But when it doesn't, a camera can save you time, money, and a whole lot of guessing. If you're not sure what your drain is hiding, give us a call at 314-429-7131 and mention this podcast for $20 off your service. Tell them Jim sent you.